Hi, this is Jim Norton. You're watching Comedy Matters TV. Lucky you. Make sure to subscribe or don't.
Hey, this is Jeffrey Gurian here for Comedy Matters TV, backstage at Gotham Comedy Live with the host of the last show of the season, Jim Norton. How are you, Jim?
I'm tired but good. Thank you.
No one would know you were tired by the energy that you put out on stage. It's amazing how comics can do that. You draw on this inner strength that you have, right?
It's more desperation and just a fear of sucking on live TV. You know, I like live TV though, you know what I mean? Because you know, there's something, it does energize you because you know it's going out live, so there's no redos. Not that you're going to redo it anyway, but just knowing it's live, you know you just can't fuck up.
Well, for you, I would think it would be easier because of O&A. You're on the radio every day doing live, right? So.
Yeah, I mean, I'm comfortable with it, but it was just, you know, it was like, all right, what material do I do in X amount of minutes? Do I start this bit when I'm getting the 2-minute light because they have to rap and they got commercials, so I can't babble and go over? But it was fun. I mean, it was really fun.
That's what's really hard. Only a real professional like yourself could know, like if somebody says you got 30 seconds and you got to fill those 30 seconds, like how to actually do that.
Yeah, you just got to play a little bit with the audience and like, you know, because you don't want to get into a 2-minute bit with 30 seconds left because it's not like there's just a host lighting you in the back. It's like they got advertisers. So, you know, I just didn't want to be the douche that wrecked the show for everybody else. That's all I wanted to do is just not be the douche who wrecked it.
Well, you certainly didn't, man. They loved you. People were very excited about seeing you. I've been seeing the shows every week, and the crowd was like really, your fans were here for you, so that was great.
Yeah, I think there was a lot of them that didn't know me either. There was a bunch of chicks up front that had no idea who I was, and I think out of the 8 of them, I wanted to fuck 2 of them, and I had a shot with none of them. There was a couple of real fucking fatties tonight, but...
You never know what could happen. The night is young, except you got to get up at 5:30, right?
Yeah, I get up for radio, so as soon as we're done here, I'm going to go home and go to bed.
How did that start? I love to ask people how something came to fruition. You've been a standing part of O&A for a long time. How many years has it been, and how did that really come about for you?
Since about 2000, I became a permanent member, and I used to tour with Dice, and Dice would go on Opie and Anthony, so he brought me on. And Dice would always talk about me on O&A, be like, you got to meet my opener. He took good care of me. So I went in, and we just kind of clicked, and they liked me. And, you know, I eventually started getting paid, and, you know, when we got fired, I got fired with them, and I came back with them in 2004.
Don't you love radio?
Yeah.
There's a certain freedom to it, right?
Yeah, because you get 4 hours to fuck around. It makes it harder to write though, because it's like whatever I want to say, I get off my chest in the morning. Like you know, like I've written books, but it was easier when I wasn't doing radio to sit down and write because you have all this stuff you want to get out. But once you blab it on the air, it's like it doesn't matter anymore. Did
you spend a lot of time with Patrice?
Yeah, he was one of my closest friends.
Yeah, he was a great guy. Did you know that I was his co-host on the Black Phillip show?
No, it's funny. I did.
Me and Dante and Patrice.
Oh wow. Okay, I saw the version with Kathleen Roll when she did it. That might have been the earlier versions of it.
Maybe he said I was the only white man he ever met who knew all the words to "Bitch Better Have My Money."
Oh,
because it was my favorite song, and I didn't know that was his theme song. And we got along so well. We did several shows together, and it was really, really fun. He's greatly missed.
Yes. Yeah. His mother came to I taped something last Friday in Boston, and his mom came to the first show, so it was nice to see her. And yeah, I mean,
Vaughn, you stay in touch with Vaughn?
I do. Yeah. I mean, we kind of go in and out of touch, but I always like, you know, we'll talk for a week, and then I won't talk to her for a month, and I'll talk to her for a week, you know, and I'll probably know her for, you know, forever because we have that connection.
Absolutely. He was a very special guy, and he's missed by so many people. Really, he was a comedy philosopher, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and as many comedians as miss him, there's that many shitty ones who are glad he's not around to make that face at them anymore. That
the face that only Patrice could make.
That right? Fucking, there's no one face that could get a comic to change his career faster than Patrice. You were finished.
He was just offended by stuff like that, and he made no bones about it. That was something about it.
It was a face that said, your lack of talent violates my being. It violates me.
In every cell of my being, he was offended by something like that.
Yeah, he had a great way of letting you know that you stunk if he didn't like you.
Now, your last CD that I heard was Please Be Offended, right? That's what I was trying to get to talk to you since last June. Oh, okay. We kept missing each other, and then I saw you in Montreal, and I think that's about the time that Please Be Offended came out. Yeah. I loved it.
Thank you.
It was great. And have you ever heard anything that did offend you?
No, I've heard jokes that I thought were tasteless, but I've never heard anything that I thought was people should get in trouble for. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not really offendable. Like, if I think a joke is rude, I just go, oh, that kind of was rude. And who cares? It never goes beyond that for me.
No, because I look at comedy as a healing force, and these days people are so offended so easily. Everybody's suing people for things that they say on stage, and it should be the opposite. Don't you think that comedy brings people together, or it should anyway?
Well, we're just, I think we're kind of a country of fucking dummies, and people just need to get attention. So whatever it is that they can use to get attention for themselves, that's all it is. They want, it's like we all cry about, and I talked about that in the special, but we all cry about privacy, and we deserve privacy, and Big Brother's watching, and they got fucking cameras everywhere, and the Easy Pass clocks where you're going. But meanwhile, we can't put the paper down when Tiger Woods' private text messages are printed, or Mel Gibson's private phone calls, or Alec Baldwin yelling at his daughter. We can't get enough of it, and we judge people on it. So we're full of shit.
Isn't that amazing? Yeah, we are full of shit, right? And like people cop these attitudes, but they really don't mean it. It's like talking about sex. As a society, we're obsessed with sex, and we hate ourselves for it. Yeah. We, like comedians, everybody laughs about sex. They talk about it all the time. But we still come from this like conservative background in this country where you're not supposed to say certain things. Yeah,
sexually the conservatives are the worst, but the liberals have become the worst language police. Like all the hyphenating that's being done, all the special interest groups, almost all of them are liberal groups. So, I mean, them and the conservatives are the same. There's no difference either side of the spectrum. They're all shit when it comes to free expression.
Exactly, and it's great for you to say that.
Well, and the problem is they all think that they're good. Like the liberals will go, no, we're very much for free thought, except for, and the fucking conservatives say the same thing. Well, unless you want to marry another man, or they're all just a bunch of twats.
And it all boils down to intelligence. It's a lack of intelligence. I think that's what you said earlier.
I think it's more self-centeredness than a lack of intelligence. It's self-obsession. People believe that what they think is ideologically right and what they think is allowable. Lack of intelligence almost lets them off the hook. Like, they're just fucking dopes. Mm-hmm. But some of them are, but a lot of them aren't dopes. They're just self-centered. Narcissists. We're a country of narcissists,
egotism. Yeah. Exactly. Now, you have a special coming up, if I'm correct, right? Could you tell me a little bit about it?
Yeah, I shot it in Boston actually a couple days ago, Friday. It's called American Degenerate, and it will air on Epix first, like Please Be Offended did. Mm-hmm. And I think it's in July it's going to air. We're editing right now, and it goes on Netflix 3 months later, and I'm really, really happy with this one. Like when I shot Please Be Offended, I love that special, but I've been doing that material for a year and a half, 2 years. Mm-hmm. This material, I guess, was about 10 months old, so it's still really fresh, and I felt really good, and I'm fucking heartbroken to have to drop it. They think once you shoot it, you got to drop it, otherwise you're just a dummy doing the same jokes. But I felt very, very good doing this stuff.
What made you choose Boston?
Boston, first of all, the women up there all fuck. Like Boston, yeah, they're all like dirtbag Catholic girls. They're fucking great. I do my
Catholic girls the best?
I'm batting like 780 in Boston. In Philly, I draw even better. I can't fuck anybody in Philadelphia. Like the fans love me down there, but literally I think I've gotten laid once since 1999 in Philly. Like, they suck, those chicks. So I love the women in Boston, and I just like, they're just a bunch of just cranky white people in Boston, and I perform well there, and I knew the tickets would sell, and I love Boston to perform in.
And as soon as you hear that a girl went to Catholic school, you know it's an immediate party because they can't wait to make up for all that shit with the plaid skirts and the uniforms and.
Yeah, you know she's a complete dirtbag. Any girl from Boston, I know I have at least a shot with on some level. I love that city.
So how often do you work out new material? Are you on stage like almost every night? Every
night, yeah. I mean, I try to. It's hard with getting up in the morning, but it's like I just do 20 minutes at the Cellar, or here at Gotham, or whatever. You work it out somewhere, and it's fun to do because you never get bored of your act, and then you go on the road and you make the money.
Stage time though is irreplaceable, right? You must be out on stage all the time. Am I correct?
Yeah. I mean. There's a lot of lazy guys who don't want to do the work, and it's like they wonder, well, how come I'm not? It's because you're not doing anything, So it's like we're luckier than actors. Where actors have to fucking fight it out in class, we can go up and actually work it out in front of an audience every night. So it's like there's no reason for comics not to at least be trying that.
Do you do a lot of new stuff on stage? Like, do you come up with a premise and work it out in front of the audience, or do you actually prepare it ahead of time? It's always interesting to me as a writer.
I am better at working it out in front of an audience. Because at the Cellar especially, I'm very comfortable. And you play with an idea you've had, and I'll go through these things where I just start bombing, and then all of a sudden, like, something happens. Something happens, like whether it's Travolta getting busted, then all of a sudden you just wind up doing 10 or 12 minutes on that, and you wind up keeping 5 of it. but you have something to talk about for 12 minutes, and then you're working on this whole new hunk. It's a really weird process, but I always work it out on stage. It's just easier.
But it's interesting how you spoke about that too tonight, about that sometimes even people at your level will still bomb on certain jokes.
Oh, everywhere. It just happens, right? I've watched Damon Wayans eat his balls. I've watched Chris Rock go down there and fucking not do well when he was talking about the school shootings. Like, hey, man, that's what we do is we work material out. It's part of it. And all these comics who are way bigger than me, and Chris is so brilliant, and to watch these guys go up there and bomb is encouraging. Colin, I think Colin's one of the funniest guys ever.
Quinn, you're talking about?
Yeah. And he'll go up there and shit when he's working on material, just shit the bed and take it. And he doesn't judge the audience. He just goes up there and goes, all right, folks. But you know what? You fast forward 6 months and he's got a brilliant new 45 minutes or hour.
See, that's amazing to me that you have to be willing to endure the pain. It's like working out, no pain, no gain. You have to be willing to put yourself out there. But that only comes with time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, I mean, you're not afraid of it anymore. Like tonight, I didn't want to bomb because it's a live TV taping, and it's like you want to do well. But in a club where you're making $30 or $40 for a weeknight, I don't mind not doing well because I understand it's for the greater good, which is having a good act for the road to headline. Because there's guys I'll see doing their Saturday material on a Tuesday, and it's like, what are you doing? You already know that works. Like, I get when you're working it out, but like you're doing shit you've been doing for 10 years on a Tuesday. Like, why?
Use that time to break in something.
Yeah, man, what the fuck are you doing? Yeah. Stupid.
Well, if I have to be the one to tell you, you totally killed it tonight. And it was great to see you. And thanks so much for coming on with me. It was awesome.
We did kind of fuck that handshake up. I went for that.
Right, come here.
I went for that.
One of these. I'm used to talking to black comics.
Oh, okay, cool. I avoid them completely. I never speak to black comics, ever. I'm kidding.
We totally fucked up the handshake, but we got it right the second time.
Did you see me cowardly go, I'm kidding, just in case a black comic saw it and was offended? I really am a shithead. Everyone knows I'm kidding. Fucking pussy boy. I talk really good until I do a black joke. I'm sorry, I didn't mean it, I'm apologizing.
Meanwhile, every black comic says everything about white people, they don't care.
I know, and none of them like me or know who I am. Believe me, I love black. I wish black people liked me, but I'm just looking, I see a black faces doing this.
That's why I was so happy that Patrice validated me by making me his co-host. I'm like, I've made it now.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he validated me as a white person, but just realizing that he angered so many people, I realized it was really bad to have him on my side.
It didn't help at all, huh?
No, in the business, you couldn't have a worse person on your side. Who, the guy that would tell every executive to walk in, get the fuck out of here. No, he was the worst ally to have.
Yeah. He never catered to anybody. That's one thing about Patrice. He stuck to his guns. Whatever it was that he wanted to do, nobody could sway him. Nobody could say, tone down your act, don't do this. He just wanted to do what he wanted to do.
Yeah, I'll say that was one thing Patrice did is he never, sometimes to his detriment, and he would tell you that.
For sure.
And he would admit it that, as he got older, he said, like, we had a conversation one time, and he goes, I just feel irrelevant. And I feel irrelevant. And it was relieving to hear him say that because I feel the same way, and all comics kind of feel that way. So to hear a great comic expressing that made you feel like, whew, all right, I'm not such a...
Be so on. Yeah, for him to be so on. But it takes security to do that. It's like a beautiful woman appreciating another beautiful woman. They have to be very secure to do that. Otherwise, they're catty bitches sometimes. Right. But a secure comic can be like, you know what? Especially with someone he trusts. And obviously, you were his friend, and he trusted you, so he could be open.
Could you have picked two fucking uglier guys to use the beautiful woman analogy on? Me and Patrice. Yeah, just like a beautiful woman acknowledging a beautiful woman.
But Patrice was all about women. Yeah. I mean, that's what we talked about on the show, because I could never say the things that he said to women, and he would never say anything that I said to women. But we had this bond. It was very interesting. Yeah. And he, Vaughn was fabulous. Yeah. And but the things he said to her, you could never, I could never say that to a woman. I think she'd just call the police if I said anything like that.
Yeah, he had a way, and I think women knew that he wasn't trying to be cruel. He was just being himself, and that was what worked for him.
I used to warn girls. I used to bring a lot of models up on the show, and I'd say, Patrice, I told them about Patrice before. He's going to say some outrageous shit to you. Just go with it. Right. And he wound up being, I mean, he was a gentleman too, but I think he really loved women.
Of course he did.
He really did.
He
thought he was a hater, but not at all.
No, he loved women, and he was as scared of them as the rest of us are.
Yes.
But he is just a great bullshitter and a great talker, and he had a great mind, so he knew how to conquer that absolute fucking terror and make it work for him. And that was how smart he was. But he was the same as all of us.
Absolutely. We're all in the same boat. But let's not admit that to anybody. Nobody. That's our secret.
Yeah, they know it anyway, believe me. Yeah.
They know for sure.
Yeah, I think
Let's try that handshake again, see if we get it right this time.
You.
This way or this way?
That's good.
Good, that's a good way.
Good.
We did good.